Alright, and we're back. We're gonna do some goodies though. So we need to get our Oracle orbs purchased. I do not think you can cheese this jump. I think you absolutely have to. Let's try it though. Nope! You cannot cheese that jump. I learned that the hard way. Okay, this is just like NetHack, right? So we need to do a few things before we do spider caves, which is, not counting lava tubes, is basically the last normal hub-based level, and then we have Golem Maya's Citadel. So here's this guy.
Seek the pure light, for within its flame the answers reside. You can gain my power cells by bringing 120 precursor orbs for each. You have obtained another power cell. For your effort, a power cell is the reward.
Cool. So that's our last purchase we gotta make in the game. Obviously we could do spider caves as well, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean, I'm doing it in a minute. I'm working on it! I'm working on it! So, does that make you move faster? Am I just crazy? No, that's just me being stupid. Don't pay attention to me. So we're gonna actually go back to Mountain Pass. What do you have?
We've got to save the other sages.
Don't make that noise again. It'll make me have a moist spot. Anyways, so remember how we turned on the eco vents in the last level? This is why, because we can go reverse doggy style through here. I'm done with the sex jokes, Jesus. Actually, no, I'm never done with sex jokes. So, I think I got everything in this level too. Oh my god. What am I doing? Jesus, Seth's drunk apparently. That's fine. I don't drink, but for the purposes of entertainment, we'll just say Seth's drunk. Okay. So I didn't actually, like, have to look this up. I actually figured this out on my own as a kid. Because I saw that power cell, and I saw that loose vent out here. And I kind of put two and two together. So, there's... Oh my god, I missed one orb. I called it. I knew it. I was like, I didn't get everything in this level. I don't remember seeing that. Oh my word. So, this is the vent that we turned on. And we shoot these boulders that were blocking the way. And boom! I don't know why every time that happens. You always hear that, like, detonator timer. This is so fucking cool. Only time in the game you can use two types of eco at once. Well, technically. But, you know. Oh my god. I hate going through this part. I always feel like I'm gonna hit shit like I did the first time. So, yay! So most people will either get this one last, or they'll do the spider cavern one last, or they'll just skip it entirely, because you can actually get the best ending in the game without getting 101 power cells. You can do it with just 100. I don't know why that was designed that way. Maybe they put that box one in as a dick move to make people go fuck this and not do it. I couldn't tell you, but I didn't make the game, so now we technically have all got... Wow, there goes my... Maybe Seth is drunk, right? I don't know. Well, I fucked up the garbage disposal, so maybe that explains something. I don't know. The one time I actually put shit down that I swear to God makes total sense to me, potato skins. I put exactly 6 potato skins in the garbage disposal. Because, first of all, you're probably like, you made hash browns and you took the skins off? Yeah, fucking sue me, I know, right? I shouldn't have done it then, right? That's the other thing. And the goddamn thing just blocked it. I don't know what his fucking problem is. This exact same fucking situation happened like 2 years ago when we first moved in. So I have to call somebody tomorrow, probably. If it doesn't sort itself out in the meantime. Because it's just not draining. I don't want to stick my hand in the actual disposal and find out if it's working or not. I pulled a lot of shit out of it, but it was all just potato skins. So, I don't know. Anyways, this is probably considered to be the hardest level. I kind of can see why. This is one of my favorite levels, though. I fucking love this one. So the gimmick here is we have this massive lake of... Well, fuck you, man! Anyways, we have this massive fucking lake of dark eco, which we cannot touch at all. If you touch that, it's an instant game over. So, boy oh boy. This level has some of the coolest design, I think, because the platforming is so cool in this level. It's got a lot of the weird floaty platform shit that I'm never a huge fan of in video games, but it's solid. It's Jak and Daxter. It gets a pass, okay? I know that's not fair, but you're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? Anyways. So there's also these fucking centipede-looking motherfuckers that are chewing on everything. You can actually hear them doing it, too. So I believe you need to turn on the yellow vent? Maybe you don't. I don't know. I can't honestly tell you if you need to have that on or off. Well, you get where I'm coming from. Just pick the fucking vents on, okay? Just do it. Be like Shia LaBeouf and just do it, okay? So, and then these guys are gonna crawl in these, like, patterns. And we can shoot them off of the jams. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Apparently I am drunk, because I can't aim for shit right now. But these things do have a random pattern. I can't really explain it. They also drop orbs when they die, which, this is why I think they can have them fall in the dark eco. But maybe that's just me being bad. I don't know. Come on. Yeah, I like how their design is based on centipedes and, like, termites. It's actually really cool. You know, I kind of am not even close to afraid of shit like spiders or centipedes, but I can totally see why people don't like centipedes. So those crystals, by the way, are pure straight-up dark eco. You gotta shoot them or touch them and have to shatter them to actually get another cell. This is a really easy level, like when you know where everything's at, but if it's your first time playing, it's definitely not easy at all. Especially considering there's so many fucking hazards. When I was a kid, I was actually terrified of spiders, but not afraid of centipedes for some really strange reason. I actually remember when I was a kid... I'm dead. I remember when I was a kid, I actually, like, had one get in the house, and I was like, oh, look at that thing. I didn't know they were venomous at all. Well, they don't get very many centipedes in Oregon, honestly. We only have a few different types. I think we have, like, a red one, and we have, like, a... I think they're black? But they're not very big. They don't get very big, at least, I don't think. Point is, I'm not afraid of them, but I was fucking shit scared of spiders. It's because when I woke up once, I had one fucking on my face. It scared the shit out of me. That's a pretty... Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Ah, you bitch. These things can do that, and I hate it. Oh, what the hell? I thought he died. Okay. But, yeah, that made me fucking really scared for a long time. I don't know why I hit pause there, but... yeah, basically, I had a pretty good reason to be afraid of them, I guess, you know, that... When you're really little, all it takes is one thing. Like, it doesn't even have to be scary, it just has to be weird. Like, I think I've told this before, I'm fucking terrified of the honeycomb monster when I was a kid. If you've never seen the honeycomb monster, he just looks like Crash Bandicoot on fucking meth, and he would, like, fucking explode out of people, and they'd be like, and then, like, it was fucking scary, dude. That's a genuine reason to be afraid of something. Am I not wrong here? Like, when something is absolutely, like, it wasn't his design that scared me. It was the ability to become him and not become yourself again, because he fucking took you over like a fucking parasite. That was scary, dude. I don't know why. That shit was just... ugh. That still makes me queasy to think about. it's not dangerous, obviously. It's not... Okay, let's all take a deep breath. I'm gonna spoil this for you, but the honeycomb monster isn't fucking real. But, like, the idea of some... Jesus Christ. The idea of Jesus Christ, yes. The idea of something just taking you over at random and just exploding out of you like a fucking chest burster out of honeycomb? That's fucking scary, man. I don't know, you have to be crazy if you can't think as... Okay, you're a 6-year-old kid. You're sitting there with your fucking Kool-Aid... God damn it! You're sitting there with your Kool-Aid jammers playing your Jak and Daxter, okay? Okay, that was way later, never mind. So you're sitting there drinking your Kool-Aid jammer and you're just like, oh wow, look at this, this is a cool commercial coming on, because I'm gonna sit there and watch TV and do nothing. And then I'll do that when I'm an adult too. And then you see the honeycomb kids. You're like, oh look, those are the kids that like honeycomb. They look pretty cool. Look at that, they got little skateboards and shit. And then they meet, the guy they start talking about honeycomb, and he goes, oh cool. And then he's like, and then he fucking explodes. He fucking explodes. He gets shorter and he explodes into the fucking honeycomb monster. How is that not scary? Like seriously, as a like 7 or 8-year-old kid, well maybe less. Okay, shamefully probably like 8. But you know, how in the hell? How is that not scary? Think about that. Like honestly, think about that. Like, can you picture that? Like, it's the first thing you see in the morning. Your parents are like, alright, sweetie, off to school with you. And then you're sitting there fucking petrified because this kid next to you's got a bag of honeycomb. Like a little fucking druggie bag full of fucking honeycomb. And what happens? Okay, you're like, okay, let's say you're 6 years old, because this is more believable, I guess. And you see that kid eating that fucking honeycomb. Then what? Are you gonna fucking sit there and not freak out that the kid's gonna turn into the goddamn honeycomb monster and fucking tear into you? Tell me that's not a possibility, okay? That's some next level shit. That's not cool, alright? If that happened to me, okay, if it was real, alright, the honeycomb monster's not real. But if that happened in real life, I would fucking never touch honeycomb. That made me afraid to eat honeycomb. Oh my god. It made me afraid to eat fucking honeycomb. I'm not even kidding. That's like one of my favorite cereals too. I don't ever buy it because I always forget about it. But like... oh my god. Like, picture this in your mind, okay? How dumb impressionable kids are. I mean, if you ever need proof, look at me, okay? Like... Do you think that didn't go through my mind when I saw kids fucking eating honeycomb cereal in school? Because it's good dry. It's a really good snack, actually. It might break your teeth, but... Well, not your teeth, but it might... Fucking son of a bitch. It might, you know, destroy the inside of your mouth, but it's really good. It's... Nothing is like it. I love that sound, by the way. Oh no, I'm gonna die again, Jesus Christ. But like, literally sit there and think about it. Like, okay, honeycomb, good shit, right? Then what? Like, do you really think, if you saw a commercial where a guy turned into a flamingo because he bought insurance and your parents say, we're getting insurance, don't you think that would be exactly like a fucking episode of Rugrats where you're suddenly afraid your parents are gonna turn into fucking, like, lizard people or flamingos or whatever the hell I just said? Yeah. I'm dead serious, man. That shit was like that to me. My grandma, I remember this is no bullshit, okay? Okay, clearly the amount of weird shit that freaks me out in real life, it's probably understandable, right? But, actually, I'm not really weirded out by a lot of stuff. Just, I had irrational phobias as a child. So, when I was a wee young lad, I used to go to my grandparents' house, right, every now and then, because your parents want to go on a weekend of fucking or something. And what do? They leave you with your relatives. And you're like, oh, cool, fucking god damn it! So, I'm with my grandma, and we're out in the back porch thing, and, you know, she's sitting there and she's like, "Oh, you want a snack?" And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "I got cereal," and I was like, "Okay." And all of my relatives were out there too. So like my cousin and then like my great aunt or some shit like that, and like all these other people were there because it's like a gazebo. I guess that's the term I'm looking for. It's like we're outside in like a table, and she brings out a box of fucking honeycomb. And do you know what I did? I am not even ashamed to admit this. I fucking turned the honeycomb like to where I didn't see it anymore. I blocked it with like a box or something that was on the table, and I was actually hesitantly eating it, like, because it scared me. I'm not even kidding. Honeycomb cereal to me was like a gateway to hell. Alright, it wasn't just like the fact that the cereal was the bomb, because it totally was. There's nothing like honeycomb cereal. That's what also makes it really cool. But so when I was a wee young lad, it was like, to me, it wasn't that the honeycomb monster wasn't scary already. It was because the fucking, what's it called? The mascot was like summoned from honeycomb. So whenever people talked about it, it made me anxious. So seeing it in person and then seeing my relatives talk about it, I was genuinely fucking scared shitless that I was gonna turn into the honeycomb monster by eating it. And I'm not even kidding, I'd have fucking dreams of that happening to me. And they were extremely uncomfortable. Like, because I wouldn't just die, alright? Like, you know, like in dreams where you're a kid, you're like, oh, you get killed by something, right? And you're like, oh, what was it? It was the honeycomb monster, right? No. I didn't die. I just became the honeycomb monster. I like how I did that first try, but I fucked up the basic easy platforming one. But you think that's a joke, right? No, I am dead if I couldn't make something this fucking stupid up, okay? This is actually what I was afraid of when I was that small. Because you gotta remember, this was a time before the internet. We couldn't just type in fucking 2 girls, 1 cup, 3 guys, 1 hammer and fucking desensitize our brains to shit. Like, that wasn't a thing you could just do, you know? And there was no such thing as, like, is the honeycomb monster real? Like, no, it was just word of mouth. Your friend would fuck with you and they'd say shit like that and it would absolutely torment the shit out of you. Like, no one actually did that to me. But my dad loved to screw with me with stuff like that. He'd be like, oh yeah, it's real. And I'd be like, are you serious? And my mom would be like, don't say that shit, Kevin. You know why? Because he's gonna grow up to be fucked up and play video games on YouTube. Well, she didn't say that last part. But she was actually kind of right, you know, one of the few times she was. But, like, I am not exaggerating when I say, oh, look at that, was even in the fucking slow-mo. That was badass. Hit that shit, come on. Yeah. You can do it by just touching those, but it's a lot easier. But no, dude, I love honeycomb. But when you're absolutely terrified to eat the cereal because you're afraid the fucking monster man will come out of you... Oh no, I'm not gonna make that. Yeah. I should've just done a leap jump. That would've been a lot... Oh! Would've been a lot easier. But yeah, like... What was the other thing I was afraid of? Like, absolutely, unbelievably afraid of? I was afraid of Count Chocula. My dad made it seem like it was a fucking real person. That was no bullshit. I was afraid of Count Chocula until I saw it. He'd be like, we're gonna go to the store and get some Count Chocula. I was like, oh, it's a fucking vampire! My dad, like... Oh my... That's fine. But... my dad, like, contributed to a lot of the stupid shit that I'm afraid of because he's just a jackass. And I mean that in a genuine... I think I said it before. My dad lost me in fucking a hardware store for fun. Like, he thought it was just a funny idea. So, like, the idea that somebody can do something stupid to somebody is probably like, oh, it's not... Your dad's not that irresponsible. My dad intentionally, at, like... I don't know how old I was. Like, maybe 2 or 3. I was like, can I have a beer? At, like... My dad isn't... Not an alcoholic, by the way. Oh my god. What?! So... My mom... Oh no, this is a different story. I'm confusing shit that's, like... Not even the same thing. Well, it's similar, but... So when I was really little, I guess my dad left a bottle of beer unattended, and my mom said I tried to drink it. And I guess I spat it out and said yucky. I don't know, that's probably true. But you know, I don't think it was beer, because my dad chewed fucking Copenhagen until he was about, like, fucking 56. So, like, and it's very recently that he stopped chewing. So, you know, if you've ever been around somebody that chews tobacco, they usually just spit into everything. And when you're a kid, you just pick shit up because you're stupid. You don't really think about things like that. I can actually remember a very, very, very harsh reality of why you don't do that. Because I was about maybe 7, yeah, I must have been 7, because I don't think we got a computer till I was like 8. And, well, no, we didn't even have a computer, so it must have been, yeah, it was 10. Anyways, so what we did was, I feel like I missed something here. I missed the crystal, that's right. The crystals, of course. So my dad, like I said, he chewed for fucking ever. Like, my dad, like, had been chewing since he was, like, fucking a teenager, at least. Like, he even said it, too. So, like, when you hear someone say, oh, they just spit into everything, don't they? Yeah. So I was, like, 6 or 7 years old, and I remember, so my relatives would come over, like, every now and then, or just family members, and they just bullshit and play video games, you know. Oh my god, and I was right in front of it, too.
Hey, Jack, can I
have your insect collection? So anyways, so my dad and my cousin were just like, my cousin was like in his 20s, by the way. And so, yeah, my dad must have been like 27, or actually literally my age, I'm pretty sure. He basically would just, well, he wouldn't get drunk, but you know, you just put shit down when you're drinking. Because my dad is a complete fucking lightweight. But, so he would just, you know, empty a beer can and just start spitting into it. So, in my mind, I'm like, Dad only spits in beer cans. Okay, that's sensible. God damn it! But, so Dad only spits in beer cans, so I'm safe, right? Because I've made that mistake at one point in time, because I'd always watch him do it. So, I remember this exact... God damn it. I remember this exact moment, too. It was strawberry soda. It was Shasta brand strawberry soda. That's what it was in my mind. And because it was the next day after, I was like, oh cool, Dad forgot a soda next to the computer thing that they were working on. Because they were working on like a PC for my like uncle or whatever. And I went in there and I just saw this soda sitting there and I just swigged it down. It was lukewarm fucking chew spit. And oh my god, I remember this so well. There was still some soda in it because apparently my dad had like not finished the whole thing because he does shit like that because he's weird. And oh my god, it was hot and it made my like, I actually almost threw up, I'm pretty sure. It was so disgusting. And oh my god, the slowdown though. One thing I can tell you is, you don't think... Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is this level where I fuck up the most? I actually like this level. Really? Really? And it spawned over there? Okay, fine. But, so yeah, I never did that again. But I remember... Oh my god, I can remember this too well. I must have been like 9. I'm gonna say I was 9 or 10 years old. And this just shows how impulsively stupid my dad actually kind of is. And I don't mean that in a good way either. He's pretty dumb. And... like, we talk every day, but that doesn't mean he's smart. That shows where I get a lot of it from, too. Look at this thing, by the way. It's badass. It's a fucking robot. So... Oh, God. Let me get my bearings here. Oh no! My dad was like, I must have been 8 or 9, at least 9, and so it's the same thing, you know, my relatives used to come over and play like Madden or Mortal Kombat or some shit, you know, forever, like we did that forever, and so my dad, he goes, here Seth, you want a beer? And I said, okay. Like, literally fucking Bobby Hill okayed my way over to it, like, okay. And then my mom literally screams at my dad, Kevin, don't. You're gonna make our son into an alcoholic. And I was like, oh, okay. Mind you, I don't drink, so it's even funnier. But, yeah, I've never actually drank anything in my life. I have no desire to drink. I actually am like 1/3 native, so I really shouldn't drink alcohol at all because there's like a gene that we inherited from like that like prevents us from processing alcohol properly. So I don't do it. Plus everybody in my family was a raging alcoholic on my mom's side, so probably not a good idea. And I'm also extremely compulsive, so do you really think drinking is a good idea? And I also take a Paxil, which you can't really drink when you're taking either. So, anyways, my, oh my god, there was a time my mom tried to, like, make me drink a daiquiri, and, because she was very fucking drunk, and she tried to make me drink a strawberry daiquiri or something, and I was, like, scared. Like, I was like, no, Mom, you can't do that, and she's like, oh, come on, just a sip, and I was like, I can't drink, I'll die, you're an alcoholic. I think I might have told this story, but I don't know. So when I was really little, I must have been in like 1st grade or something, so I was probably... So anybody who's my age or younger, I guess, we actually can attest to this. Damn it. No. There was this program in schools called DARE, and I know it started in the 90s before I was born. I was born in 94, but there was this, like, campaign that they'd come to your school and they'd be like, okay, so they'd basically have everybody in the school come out and they'd be like, everybody go to the cafeteria or whatever the fuck it was, because, yeah, we didn't have a dedicated, our school was tiny that I went to grade school in, by the way. So we didn't have that luxury. We just had a cafeteria gym combo. I feel like a lot of schools did that. But, basically we're all out there. And, you know, we're like little kids. We're in like elementary school. So pretty much anything you say is going to be absorbed and probably considered real without any questioning it. So, when I was like really little, they came in and they had us all like listen to them talk about how if your parents come home, how many of your parents come home and they drink a beer? And then, like, you know, kids would raise their hand, they'd be like, your parents are alcoholics. This is the danger of drinking, you can't do that. And we'd all go, because we all knew that our parents drank. I grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere, everybody drank. Even if it was recreationally, like, not, like, abusively. And so they were basically like, oh, if someone offers you drugs, just say no. They're gonna push drugs on you. They're gonna fucking push it down your throat. They're gonna inject heroin into you. And we were like, no, we can't do heroin. We're too young to do the heroin. And so here's what's really funny. They'd always tell us about drugs, but never tell us what they looked like or what they did. Because I'm pretty sure if you told kids that if you need to inject heroin after you burn it, like, they'd be like, yeah, that's too much work, I'm not doing drugs. Or how expensive drugs actually are. So, they always acted like, a lot of anti-drug campaigns also did this too. They acted like people just walked around in trench coats handing out fucking meth. That doesn't happen. Can you suck my dick? No, he doesn't say that. I did that really weird, by the way. That was not how you're supposed to do that at all. But, so, yeah, they were basically just like, I'm really derailing, I'm sorry, but it's the end of the game. What do you expect of me at this point? I'm trying my ass off too. I'm really trying. Like, yeah, they basically just came into school and like threatened us that we were all, if someone drank a beer at home, even if they just drank a beer, they were an alcoholic. So I remember I went home and I was like devastated. Okay, I was fucking mortified that my dad was an alcoholic, and so. This is no bullshit. I actually told my dad, because he'd just say, "Hey Seth, can you grab me a beer?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I even remember where my dad kept me, put him in the fucking crisper drawer of the fridge. And mind you, like I said, my dad just drank a beer like every now and then. My dad is not an alcoholic, like at all. So, but to me, school told me that my dad was an alcoholic because he drank a beer. And so I told him, "No, Dad, I'm not getting your beer. You're an alcoholic. You need to change your life. We're going to end up homeless if you don't get your shit together." I am not even exaggerating. I probably said everything in that exact sentence except the word shit. So, and my dad is just fucking pissing himself laughing. And I'm like 7 or something like that, right? I don't know what sarcasm is yet because my mom is extremely cold and cruel and like use sarcasm like normal language, so it just went over my head. So I'm just like, my dad's laughing so hard and he's like, "Yep, I'm a bit old." I remember the exact words he said. "Yep, Seth, I'm a big old alky. That's me." And I started saying, "So you admit it, you're an alcoholic, you're a bad person, Dad, I don't love you anymore. You can't, we're gonna be poor and shitty or whatever." And like, my dad is just trying so hard to like not like get mad because he's laughing so hard. And I'm like actually in tears, and my mom, she goes, "Kevin, stop laughing, it's not funny." And I just said like, "No, I don't want to be part of this family, and I don't want to be part of a dysfunctional family," or something like that. I was really well versed, by the way, for being really young. It's why I can insult things and say shit really efficiently, is because I learned how to speak really quickly. Anyways, I'm bragging about being a kid. Anyways, so I'm like fucking sitting there in my bedroom. This is no shit. I am honest to God in my bedroom crying my eyes out. I can even remember where I was at in the house because this affected me so badly. And it was like I was sitting on my bed crying with the window open because it was probably really hot. And so my mom comes in and she goes, "Seth," and I'm like, "What? I don't want to be part of this family anymore." And then she's like, "Seth, your dad's not an alcoholic. I'm guessing school told you that." I'm like, "They told me that at school that if your parents..." She's like, "Seth, not everything you hear at school is true." And I said, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's not true. Your dad drinks beer because he likes the taste of it." And I was like, "But he drinks beer." And she's like, "Seth, your dad drinks beer because he likes it. He doesn't get drunk. Have you ever seen your dad get really drunk?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Exactly, your dad's a fucking lightweight." And I was like, "Okay." And then I just completely dropped it. Like, I was so fucking scared that my dad was an alcoholic because Dare told me that my dad was an alcoholic. Like, they also told us that, like, if you, like, people would just get mad at you if you said no to doing, like, the weed. And it was really funny because, you know what's funny? I've been to, like, over a dozen concerts, and you know how many people have offered me weed or acid or beer, and I've said no? Do you know what they do? They go, "Okay." But you know why I'm nice about it? Because I say, "Nah, man, save some for someone who wants it." Or I'll be like, "Hey, they'll be like, "Hey, you want a shot of Jack?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, take a shot for me, though." And then they'll be like, "Ah!" And they fucking walk off. No one has... You know, this is the exact response I get every single time. Like, hey bro, you want a hit of weed?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm okay, I don't want to smoke." And they're like, "Okay." And then they never bring it up again. That's exactly what happens. Nobody fucking shoves a cigarette into your mouth and tells you to smoke it. No one ever comes up to you with like... This is the other one. They always say, "Oh, they're gonna get you with free drugs." And I'm like, what kind of idiot gives out free acid? Do you know how expensive acid is? Do you know how expensive shit like that actually goes for on the black market? Do you know how much weed used to be back in the day? It was like, okay, let's see if I can remember. It was about $20 or $30 an ounce of weed from most of the people I talked to. Because I was curious once, I asked my ex, I'm like, how much does it cost? And they're like $30, and I'm like, that's fucking expensive. Like, what kind of idiot just gives people free weed? That's stupid. That's not a world that is real, okay? That's not a thing. So, I don't know, man. That's just... No, that doesn't happen. So, cigarettes are easy to get too. I know people are like, oh, I'm not encouraging you to smoke or do drugs or anything, by the way. But, you know how easy it is to bum a cigarette off of somebody? Eventually someone will cave in and just give you one. Like, cigarettes are so expensive now, though, that I'm like, yeah, no one just fucking goes out and hands you packets of cigarettes laced with fucking, like... Yeah, people totally walk around with cigarettes laced with weed, because that's a great idea, and they give out free drugs. That's like the idea that, oh, you check your kid's Halloween candy, there could be drugs in it. What kind of idiot wastes high-quality hallucinogenic drugs like mushrooms or acid or something on like a 6-year-old? First of all, no one would ever do that. And you can be like, oh, well, there was that one time. I'm like, yeah, the pixie stick story that was cyanide that was designed to kill her husband, and the husband grabbed the wrong thing. The one isolated case of that actually happening. Oh, but you know, razor blade apples, never confirmed. That's an old woman's, like, wives' tale, okay? That's, like, not real. That shit never happens. The reason you don't take, like, random shit from people's houses is because you don't know what they put in it, like, because they probably don't know how to cook. But you know, the kind little grandma that's like, here, have some popcorn balls! She's not your enemy. I can guarantee you that right now. But I'll see you guys in the next one when we take on the lava tube. And, you know what? Let's knock it out. Let's do it now. Why not?
Alright, with these additional power cells, I should be able to supply the heat shield with enough power to stand up to this lava. But the shield still has a limit. It will now withstand temperatures up to 800 degrees, but no more. So keep an eye on your gauge. I don't want to think about what those temperatures would do to your zoomer if the shield gives out.
Yeah, the heat. What? The zoomer? Hey, what about us? Don't you think we could look for a safer route to Gull Citadel?
Look, I've released more cooling balloons into the tube, so you can use them to keep the temperature down. And don't forget to activate the teleport gate in the Yellow Sage's lab. We're counting on you.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna cut here. I'll see you guys in the next one.